The only thing that changed, that star section. And really, step 4, that was our old step 4 and 5. I just mixed them together. You still write your answer, right, as an ordered pair. And they will still change the variables. So you still have to think about that. The hardest part is step 2. And then obviously adding and subtracting. So really, if I put these steps on the board for you, these steps would be enough for you for 2 sections because all the steps are the same. And if you don't need to multiply because they're already the same, you wouldn't do that, right? If you already have x and y the same. So I will put these steps for you on the board. Okay? Does everybody have that written down? Okay. I'm going to flip the board. That's why I asked. Actually, I'm going to move it because I use the whole board. Okay, so we're going to start with some easier ones and work our way up. Okay? So, first example. 5x plus 6y equals -8. Second equation, 2x plus 3y equals -5. So I'm going to treat this just like the old problem. We're just adding a step in it. So first thing we always do are my x's on top of each other, my y's on top of each other, my whole numbers, my equal signs. Okay. Next, look at your x's. Are my numbers the same? No. Look at your y's. Are your numbers the same? So that means we need to find something in common with them, okay? The number 2 and 5. One's even, one's odd. Can you take the smallest number? This is what I always look at. Can you take the smallest number and turn it into the big number using multiplication? Can you multiply it by 2 or 3 or anything to make 5? No. Look at the y's. Can you take the smallest number and turn it into the bigger number? Yes. What could we multiply 3 by to make 6? 2. So this is where knowing your basic multiplication does help you. If not, you grab that calculator and divide them, biggest number by smallest number, if you don't know. So since what you need is this 3 to be multiplied by 2, you have to change the whole equation for that 3. So you're going to put parentheses around that whole thing, even that 5, and you're going to write times 2. Okay? So now what you're going to do is, this top equation, do I need to change it at all? Right? We didn't do anything to it. So we are just going to rewrite it because you want to keep them in the order. So I'm going to rewrite it. 5x plus 6y equals -8. Now this next equation, what does it tell me I need to do? You can put the times 2 in the front too, because I know that's how you're used to seeing distributing. What do we need to do to this bottom equation? What's this say? Times everything by 2. So you're going to take 2 and multiply it by 2x. What's 2 times 2x? So I'm going to put 4x right there. Then I'm going to take 2 and multiply it times 3y. What's 2 times 3y? So I'm going to put positive 6y. My equal sign doesn't change. And then I have the last number. A lot of people forget this last number. Don't forget it. 2 times -5. -10. So you have to multiply all of it. Now, Jesse, after we do that, we're going to decide, are we going to add or subtract these two equations together? Because now we have 6's. We're going to subtract, so I'm going to put a subtraction sign between each of these. Draw my line. From here, it's just like what we did before. So now I have 5x's minus 4x's. What does that equal? 1x. What happens with my 6y's? They cancel out. That's good. I have an equal sign. What is negative 8? Make sure you type this in if you're messing up. Negative 8. CJ? No, I'm asking you to stop doing what you're doing. Put it back in your pocket. Negative 8 minus negative 10. What is negative 8 minus negative 10? Positive 2. Do we have an answer for x? Yes, so because 1 doesn't really do anything, right? X equals 2. Once we have an answer, what did we do beforehand? One of the original equations. Where are the original equations? Right here or all the way over here? Over here. So we're going to take x equals 2, and you're going to plug it in to an original equation, not the ones you changed. One of the original equations. And then for Jesse, that'll help him a lot because he used to cross them off and forget some. So maybe that'll help you a lot. So you're going to plug it into an original top equation. So it says 5 times x, but we see an arrow, so 5 times 2 plus 6y equals negative 8. So once you write that down, that's because I'm teaching right now and I'm recording my lesson. Jesse, what's next? Yep, which is? Okay, bring down everything else. Now what, Jesse? From both sides? Okay, subtract 10 from both sides. I get 6y equals negative 8 minus 10. Yep, negative 18. What do I do to get y by itself? Just by 6. Yep. What does y equal? Negative 3. Jesse, how do I write my answer? Correct. What, Caleb? You're going to poop your pants? Like you're going to poop your pants? Do you have an agenda? So how did you feel about that first problem for the 5 of you that actually did it? Okay. Let's try another one. It is 9:47. Okay. How about, okay, let's try this one. 9r plus 1s equals 13. Next equation, negative 3r minus 2s equals 4. So again, look at it. First step, are they already in order? Yes. Are any of my numbers the same? No. So then you look at the first group. The number 3 and the number 9. Can I take the smaller number and turn it into the bigger number? Can I take 3 and multiply it by something to make 9? Yeah, by what? 3. So since I figured that number out, I'm going to put the whole thing in parentheses, and I'm going to write times 3. Since that works for me. So since the first equation, we did nothing to it, we're just going to rewrite it. 9r plus 1s equals 13. When we distribute, what does that turn into? Negative 9r minus 6s equals 12. Just don't forget, that's why I like drawing the arrows from the first number. Just don't forget to multiply all 3 numbers because people do make that mistake very easily. Once we distribute, Reese, are we going to add or subtract our equations together? How do you know that? Yep, because this 9's positive and this 9's negative, so we're going to add them together because they're different. Just since we have a positive and a negative, they're different. What happens with my r's? Cancel out. 1s plus negative 6s. So negative 5s, bring down my equal sign. 13 and plus 12. 25. Okay. What do we do to get s by itself? Divide by negative 5. What do we get for s? What? You're multiplied, sweetie. Negative 5. 25 divided by negative 5 is negative 5. You probably forgot your negative sign. Now that I know what s is, Risa, where am I going to plug that s into? One of the original equations, and I would do the first one. Right there. I'm going to write it up here. So it says 9r, we don't know what r is, plus 1 times s, which is negative 5, equals 13. Well, 9r same as 9r. 1 times negative 5 is just negative 5, equals 13. Katie, what do I do to get r by itself? What do I get? What's my final answer? Alphabetically, it is in order. Hold on, we still have another kind left to do. That's not so bad. Okay. Let's try it this way, see if I can organize it better and use the board wisely. Let's try a different problem. Okay? I have to look and find one. Okay. Let's do this one. 4x plus 2y equals 8. I drew a snowman 8 for Risa. Next one is 3x plus 3y equals 9. So, what do you notice? Try it and then see what you notice. Yeah, so they're all in order, but I can't make the smaller one into the bigger one either anytime, can I? So if you can't do the smallest one into the biggest one, you do have to multiply both. So what I always do, it's up to you. Honestly, it really is up to you. If you see how these are both the same signs, like they're all positive, then it really doesn't matter. Now, if some of them had like these were positive and then these were opposites, I find adding easier, right? We usually mess up when they're subtracting. But it's up to you. Would you rather multiply by 4 and 3 or by 2 and 3? If you like, you know how we always plug into the top? You can always just use the first ones if it's up to you. So since this number is not what we want it to be, if we want to change the x's, you basically switch them. So what you're going to do is 4 is up here, so I'm going to multiply the bottom one by 4. Since 3 is down here, I'm going to multiply the top one by 3. So you're just switching them. You're multiplying by whatever's underneath it or on top of it. Does that make sense? You're just multiplying them by each other. So then we're going to have to distribute both of them, which is why we always scoot to the right. So you just got to distribute both times. But if you mess up this distributing, are you going to mess up the entire problem? Yeah, that's the problem. So 3 times 4 is 12x. 3 times 2y, 6y. 3 times 8. Okay, first equation done. Jesse, second equation, 4 times 3x. 4 times 3y. Okay, 12y. 4 times 9. Okay. Now we look at the numbers that are the same. Are we going to subtract them or add them? We're going to subtract them. Put a subtraction sign between all the numbers. Draw a line underneath. What happens with my 12s? Okay. 6y minus 12y. Yep, negative 6y. 24 minus 36. What do we do to get y by itself? Divide by negative 6 on both sides. What do we get for y? Y equals positive 2. We still have to take this answer and plug it into one of the originals, right? Before you multiplied. We always pick the top one. Look how much more space I saved when I went this way. Derek, will you put that away, please? So then 4x plus 2 times 2 equals 8. What's... Now what? Five minutes. Technically, 7 minutes. How do you write your answer? Did you do the 2s and the 3s? That's okay. So the cool thing is, so Derek said he did the y's instead of the x's. He chose to like multiply the top by 3 and the bottom by 2. It's okay. If you choose to cancel a different variable, you will still get the same answer as long as you do your math correctly. If you have a hard time choosing, Jesse, like if you ever want to pick, you can always just choose the outside numbers. Okay? Just like we always plug into the top, you can always choose the x's. to cancel them out. And people make that mistake a lot. You forgot to multiply 8 and 9 by those numbers. Yep, and that will change the whole answer. So after you distribute, before you do adding or subtracting, double check that you multiplied everything, because that is where everyone makes these mistakes. That is a very, very common mistake. Okay? Wednesday. Does that make sense? That is literally the only thing that changes. Either you multiply only one of the equations or you have to multiply both of them. That is it. Does that make sense? So if we just practice it on the board, you'll be okay? Okay. Where is, oh, it's over here.